Hello, hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to our series on divorce in South Carolina. I am James Shadd, a local attorney in Columbia, South Carolina, which is the capital city of our state. And I've been practicing law for the past 21 years. Again, this is the second installment in this series. Last week, on last Friday, we discussed if you are making a decision to divorce, what does that look like? What are you planning on doing? And it was all about preparation. So this week we're going to talk about what does it mean if you have gotten signals from your spouse that they no longer want to keep the marriage, or frankly you've just been hit with divorce papers and you don't know which way to go. It's a hazy time, it's a very confusing time, it's extremely emotional. The person who you said you were going to live with for the rest of your life and that you all were going to care for each other no longer wants to be with you. And so in that instance, it's very important that you get with an attorney so that they can guide you in this process, because the court system can be very overwhelming, it can be intimidating, and you want someone that's going to fight hard, have those great negotiation skills, but also have empathy, because this is a new chapter that you are developing and you're doing it in real time. So if you are caught blindsided, there's still some things that you will be able to do in order to prepare. First of all, what are the finances going to be like? Are you someone who has been relying on your spouse to care for you financially because you are a stay-at-home parent, or are you disabled? Or is it a situation where it's a two-income home, but now this person is going to be leaving, or you may leave the home, and now you won't benefit from the double income that you would have had. Now it's being reduced to, instead of us, it's now going to be me. And what does that look like? Because now we have expenses that are there. There may even be more expenses. It's very expensive to get a divorce, and that's not just hiring the attorney or hiring a guardian ad litem regarding the kids, or mediation that you will have to go through because it's mandatory in South Carolina. It could very well be an expensive proposition to live as a single person moving forward, as opposed to, of course, enjoying that time that you had as a married couple. When it comes to children, what does that look like? Is there a fear that your spouse is going to take the kids and run off? They very well could do that, because the law says the children or child belongs to the spouse, just like it does with the other spouse. And so it's a matter of who's going to have the kids, and the court always looks at what's in the best interest of the children. Sometimes your other spouse might not realize that that is the standard, and they may just decide, well, let me go ahead and grab these kids. Well, the courts are in place so that if you have been considered the primary caretaker, meaning that you're the person who is taking care of their daily needs, you primarily take care of all the duties that a parent would do, while the other parent may support you in rearing the children, or they may not. The court will take that into consideration. There are many factors that they look at, too many now that we will be able to go to in this video. But the main thing is to make sure that the kids are taken care of, that they are provided for their basic needs: food, clothing, shelter, and then of course their emotional support, which you may be able to provide. If that's the case, make sure that you provide that to the lawyers so that they can assist you in that. Also, what are the debts going to look like? We talked a little bit about economics, but what are the debts going to look like moving forward? Whose name are the debts in? Is it yours? Is it theirs? And if that's the case, is that going to continue? Are you going to take on the debt? And really, sometimes it comes down to who's going to get the cars, who's going to continue to have car insurance on it, because you don't want to be out there uninsured and driving and not realize it. The health care benefits that are there as well. What does it look like in terms of health insurance? Now, the law says that your spouse, if you are on their insurance, they have to continue to keep you on there while we're going through the litigation. But there could be a situation where while you are covered, you may have to pay them the premium that is just for you. Now, as to children, if you end up having custody or want custody, you are entitled to child support from your spouse so they can help support you. Sometimes it's not enough, sometimes it's good, and they think that it's too much. And so that's where the fight will be. But we do have a formula that we go by in South Carolina which will address that. And then what does visitation look like? Is this spouse capable of caring for the child or children when you are not around? Because that's going to be the reality of the situation. So there's many factors in this harrowing time where you are extremely upset and highly emotional about things, about now this being a new chapter in your life. You're clearly at a crossroads in your marriage. And so again, I strongly encourage you to get with an attorney. And so I'm calling you out if you have these questions or concerns, just give me a call. It doesn't mean anything just to have a consultation. Send me a DM. Call my office at 803-771-7460. You can email me at james@shadlawfirm.com, or you can schedule a consultation at shadlawsc.com. I'd love to sit down with you and talk about how things are. Even if it's something that you want to get prepared for next month or next year, it's best to have that information now. But even if you're blindsided, I will be able to respond to you very quickly so that we can involve the courts if necessary, or perhaps even start negotiating things before anyone even files, or even after you've been served. We can still move things along before there's a hearing that will come up before the judge. It's always best if the parties are able to work things out, at least on a temporary basis, and then make that a part of a temporary order. But if not, that's what we have the judges for, and that's what we have attorneys for. So again, please reach out to us, and we'd love to help you. I'm James Shad from the Shad Law Firm, coming to you from Columbia, South Carolina. I wish you well this week, and we'll be back next week to discuss another aspect of divorce. Take care.